We didn't describe shit. It's all here, telepathically. But as we fell in frequency and we did start writing shit down, it was us who came up with deoxyetheric acid for our genetics to separate it from what they had going on. And here they come behind us. Deoxyribonucleic acid. All right? Or however they want to enunciate the bullshit. Because they lying anyway. But understand that going inside that DNA is when you start getting to the chromosomes, the cells, the helices, the series. Also, they pointed out something major about the chromosomes, though, that they did point out that I want to highlight. When they spoke about how out of the 23 pairs, basically all 22 pairs of chromosomes look exactly the same, except for that very last pair. That's a fact, even in human beings. But they don't have chromosomes, they're called autosomes with them. But they do all look the same. And I want to highlight that amongst the gods and goddesses. Out of our pairs, right, our 33 pairs, 32 of them looks the same. And that very last one looks different. And that's the one they call the sex chromosome. Why? Because this is where they try to say we get the difference between us having a penis and goddesses having a vagina. But notice how they said that the goddess has 2 pair of X chromosomes. That's a fact because the black woman is God. She was first. Okay? I want to highlight that because they said it in the chromosomes when I pulled it up. She has 2 pairs of all the pairs of chromosomes that are inside us. They all look the same. Except for the very last pair between a god and a goddess. That very last pair, she has 2 X, he has an X and a Y. Why? Because we supposed to have 2 X's as well. But we don't. Because we came second, motherfucker. They created us, motherfucker. So, you know what I'm saying? By them creating us, this is why they have 2 X's. And we have a whole X and a half an X, because a Y is nothing but a half an X. A Y is an X, but it's missing one of the legs, so it becomes a Y. Because a little bit of those genetics are missing. See? That's why. That's the true reason why. The XY chromosome. Exactly. All right? The X chromosome was first. The divine feminine energy represents that X chromosome. That's why even when you get to the last pair, she has 2, and we have an X and a Y. Because we're supposed to have an X and an X, but we have an X and a half an X, which is called the Y. Okay? So, this is what makes her God. And then she created us and told us to create everything else, and we did that. And this is what makes us God. You see how that go? That's how that went. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wanted to just point that out because they did say that. And so that you can understand that when I'm saying this, I'm saying this from a genetic point of view. I'm talking genetics when I say we are gods and goddesses. I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. I'm not just saying some shit just to say it. It's the DEA. It's the reason why we outrun y'all and all of that shit. You see it the most in athletics with the DEA. That's where you really see. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's in a whole bunch of other areas too. It's just to stand out more athletically. So it'd be like, okay, you know? And then every now and then you'll get like a human being who kind of may receive a little bit of that in through the autosomes. And he might have ended up with a few extra autosomes, and you'll see him jumping a little higher than your average human being. But it'd be rare though. But it happens though, like Mac McClung, Brent Berry. You know, you got the the other white boy to be on. He like real famous online. He human being. He Duncan. He the Duncan Davis or some shit. Andrew Killigan or something with a K. But he be going crazy, right? You get that sometimes, but that's because of the autosomes. And if they get more than 46, because it's 23 pairs. They end up with 46 total. But sometimes they might end up with like 50, 52, 55, 60, and then you'll see them a little more advanced physically because of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's all still genetics. That's all still DNA. You can't replace the autosome. An autosome is a synthetic version of a chromosome. Just like the cell structure, the cellular structure in their double helix. If you look at theirs and you look at our triple helix, it's 2 completely different materials. So, when you notice those differences, this is how you're able to connect that back to your home planet of Sirius X. If you have DEA, you come from Sirius X, Xylanthia, right? That's where you get that from. And then you'll understand why we even have the X chromosome. Why is it even called an X chromosome? All that represents home base, Xylanthia. It's not just no X for no reason. It's not just an X for any reason. It's like X because it literally is shaped in the way our home planet, the X model of why it's called Xylanthia. You know, like it gets deep. The X chromosome is literally shaped the way our home planet is shaped. It looks like a big ass X. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the home center in the middle, and then you got both long cityways. And you got the middle, which is the capital of Xylanthia, and then you got beings living amongst each that way, north, east, southwest, within the X though. You know what I'm saying? The like four corners, and then you got that in the middle. That's the X. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. This is all this is some cosmic shit that is way beyond me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like, your chromosomes, nigga, is literally designed the way our home planet is shaped. Yeah, that's why Under Armour try to use it. Exactly. Literally, man. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You know what I'm saying? You talk about the shape of our home planet. X. That's in your chromosomes. That's in your chromosomes, man. It's etched into. This is the true. This is onus. It's onus. It ain't in us. This shit ain't just started being said. That's an ancient saying. But the true meaning of it's onus is not in us. It's that it's literally. I mean, it's in us. It's not on us. It's that Cause I meant to say it's in us, not on us. But that whole saying it's in us, not on us. That's a more ancient saying than you could even think of. That shit goes back metaphysically. Your genetics is designed the way. You know what I'm saying? That's us. That's a DEA thing. That's the DEA thing. That's the DEA thing. Why we can meditate and tap in like that. Why we can do that type of stuff. Why we can use telepathy. Like, that's all DEA. You know what I'm saying? Why we can be so creative. That's all DEA. It's all DEA. That's all a cosmic thing. That's a galactic thing. And every being don't have that. You can be whatever you want to be, whenever you want to be it, wherever you want to be it. Only you can do that as a Anunnaki God. You know what I'm saying? As an aboriginal being of Xylanthia. You know, as a creator of the cosmos. You feel me? Like, this is what you gotta understand. So it was keeping that away from us, that led us to want to war with each other. That's why they had to make us war with each other. Y'all feel me? And I'm on the West Coast right now too, so it's only 10 o'clock my time. I know if you're on the East Coast, I'm normally checking in from the East Coast, but we on the West Coast, man. We was trying to do like a live lecture on the Grand Canyon, because you know the Grand Canyon, that's like the entrance to Africa. But when we got there, they had a snow machine on. It was snowing windy as fuck. So we'll have to come back out here and do it again, but we ain't even do it. So, but yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so like it's only 10 o'clock my time. So shout out to the West Coast. But if you watching me, normally I'm checking in from the East Coast. So right now it would be like what 1:11 maybe East Coast time, right? If you're on Central Time, it's maybe 11:11 or something like that. Or East Coast 12:12. It's 2 hour difference. Oh, okay. So it's a 2 hour difference. Okay. So East Coast 2. Okay. Right. Cause right, yeah. I'm